invocation. AFCM Mike Harden, retired, arriving. Lieutenant Commander Keiffer Marino, arriving. Commander, Helicopter Maritime Strike Wing Atlantic, arriving. Flag detail, parade the colors.
March, ready, halt, left, face, freeze, man, arms,
Retire the colors.
shoulder, arms, ready, cut, left, face, forward, march,
Ladies and gentlemen, Bishop Derek Morris of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will offer the invocation. both side boys. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Military guests in uniform may remain uncovered. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Legan.
Shore people, good morning. How's everybody doing? All right. Welcome to this retirement ceremony. We're glad you're all here. Beautiful day. They turned the sprinklers on right before me as I was walking up the stairs, and one of them's not working so well, so the people that just got here got a little wet. It's okay, don't worry about it. But Keiffer, this is an awesome day, and I see that you put yourself on the front page of your program. So he wants you to think that today is all about him. But it's not. I assure you that it's not. And he will fully admit that it's not, because it's really about the people that are in the front row over here. That's why we do retirement celebrations. It's to honor the service of the member, but really as a thank you to the families and friends that supported the service member for their entire careers. So, Keiffer, we did his farewell the other day, and I had a chance to say to him that I really appreciated his hard work, his work ethic, and the fact that he took on some crazy ideas that this old Commodore had and really worked his butt off to try to get those things over the finish line. We weren't successful in all of them, but we were successful in a few of them. And I think that is a testament to what he's done for his entire career. We're never going to be fully successful in everything that we try, but as long as we're trying to pursue perfection, and maybe not achieve it on our way there, but really work hard and try to get there, I think that's all we can ask each other. So, Keiffer, thanks for letting me preside over your ceremony. I look forward to the words from your guest speakers, and your words to honor your family. Thanks.
It's my pleasure to introduce my old chief, Master Chief Mike Hart, as my guest speaker. Mike, thank you for agreeing to come out here and do this. Get ready.
Good morning. Good morning to all you guys. I'm short. No, I'm good. First of all, let me apologize. I'm from South Louisiana, so if I slip up, I'm sorry. Okay? If y'all met this kid when I met him, 23, 22 years ago, oh my God. LC Marino and his running partner, Petty Officer Walls, came here. He's over in Whitney Island. Transition to PH. The only reason I remember that transition word is because Commodore said, I'm doing the railroad, whatever, they turn me into PH. But if there was something going on in the squadron, Petty Officers Marino and Walls were involved. And they were first classes, but they were having fun. Okay, and back then, right before 9/11, we worked hard, we played hard. And when 9/11 came around, we got busy. We got busy. Everybody helped down, and there was a lot of one-on-one with a bunch of the petty officers. Myself, I spent 4 days in the maintenance patrol squadron 30, figuring out how many bomb racks and how many air crewmen I had to put their lives in danger. Because that's what my captain, Rear Admiral Prindle, retired, came down and told me. So we didn't have to go. We sent some P3s out. Yes, I'm a P3 guy. But I did do a tour over here in the helicopter world, so don't everybody hate me. But I was fixing the parts, not the brakes and parts. I got a question to ask you here. Did you enlist in the Navy? You volunteered?
I did.
You should hesitate.
No, I volunteered.
Okay. Well, I did not. I came in when it was time as volunteer. I had a JAG Captain Reserve, Leo Higginbotham. And he stood me up because, you know, like the little wayward punk that I was, in the streets of Baton Rouge, he gave me a choice. He goes, you got 7 days to figure out your life, maybe it's a good life, or I'm gonna give you a place to stay. I said, well, that made it easy. So I went to the timekeepers and sent my check to my daddy, I'm out. And that's when I started in the Navy, okay? His wife was the prosecutor, and it'll come full circle when I tell you this the rest of the story. But the last thing he said, he goes, you gotta go forth and try to do good things. Yeah, you got a little dust on you, dust off. Go out and serve your country. Because if you serve your country, you serve it well, you'll do all right. And off boot camp I went. So fast forward that a little bit. First tour, you know, picked up second class pretty quick. Fast forward a little bit more. Then I'm in Patrol Squadron 30 with 43 P3 saying, oh my God. And that's when 3130 came together. California sailors, look around this room, California sailors and East Coast sailors are not the same. Okay? They are not. Night and day. But we got it together. We started getting airplanes up. Fast forward again, I go to another P3 squadron. That was the training year, right? D45. I come to VP30 again on my captain tour saying, yay, I'm going to the AME shop with Walls and Marino. I was there 3 days. I got put on the paycheck desk. You maintainers out there know what paycheck is. We got 40 B3s and 400 maintainers, 2 of Walls and Marinos. But we had about 40 of them. They were having fun. So fast forward that tour. He always wanted to learn. All right. And after, you know, I was on my 4th tour. I knew a bit about the air, just a wee bit. He'd get hung up, and he'd come ask me. Or he'd do something wrong, and I'd have to go find him. But he would listen, all right? He's a very good listener. So I said, hey, man, you need to straighten up. You're good talent. You're talented AME, which had a retirement in August as an air conditioning tech. Okay. But that's okay. So, you know, we shook hands, and 14 straight years, P3s, where they sent me, USS Truman. Oh my God. So I was Airman Marino, walking on board that flat top. We did all the workup cycles. We go to the Persian Gulf. Standing there in the Persian Gulf. One of my fire protectors crosses the line. So where you go up to the nest. You gotta go see the air boss. You guys ever had to deal with an air boss? It's your worst principal ever. So we go up there, as he crosses the foul line, I'm QAS, you know, I'm on the radio, blah, 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 I'm getting it handed to me, all the way up to the nest. And air boss starts screaming at me. Just, Senior Chief, you're at parade dress. Petty Officer, you're at attention. He starts screaming, just pulling the insides out of him. Just screaming. And he still had his cranium on. And for you guys that's been on a ship or wear a cranium, you know there's a little 2-inch by 2-inch piece of Velcro. Well, it's not for an LSU Tiger stick. Petty Officer, you're at parade dress. Senior Chief, you're at attention. And that man commenced to give me my worst butt chewing I had since I was in there 14 years ago. So, that being said, it's another long walk and 19 ladders down. I got to talk to this kid. I said, why do you got an LSU patch on me? Yeah. Well, I'm from the river. Why, really? I said, you married? Yes, Senior Chief. To who? He says to Brittany Higginbottom, the niece of the judge that put me in the Navy 14 years ago. So, in the middle of the Persian Gulf, I'm about to have a stroke. But he was worried about me taking the skins, because as QAS, I controlled all the skins. And you know, back in the early 2000s, $150 a month is a lot of money, especially if you're a third-class petty officer trying to raise a family. So I basically took him in the QA, read him the riot act, shook his hand, said, don't wear it on the flight deck anymore, and keep it moving, all right? If you're gonna leave, leave, all right? Some sailors need a little bit more attention. And another thing I always try to do, if one of my sailors that I've crossed paths with, either eulogies, because I've lost some sailors, I've had a lot of sailors over the years, eulogies or retirements, I try to come up and say, thank you. Because if you do that, if you touched him, if I touched him enough in 2000, it was 2001, all right, 9/11, for him to ask me 23 years later, 22 years later, on A&E stuff, he had, to come speak at his retirement, it's my honor to present a eulogy for a sailor that his family asked me. It's my honor. Back in May, I lost my best friend of over 50 years. Well, he was one of the sailors that got put in the Navy. All right? And his wife, I know her pretty good, but she's like, I don't want anybody else to speak, but she's like, and it's hard to lose a sailor and friend of 50 years. But you know what's hard? It's keep friends for 50 years. Okay? Over the years, as he shot up, put on his khakis, you know, I was already a crusted Columbia Old Master Chief serving on AAS, paid for it. And we kind of lost touch. And then when he got back over into the fixed wing, in the D3 world, he reached out and asked if I need some help. Like, all right, whatever you need, I'll help you. Okay? Same way with him. Lieutenant, I need some help. And he helped. All right? So that's, focus on what you can change and focus on the people that you can help. Because it will come full circle. Just like John James did on USS Truman in Percival. He's getting ready to retire CWO 3. But he won officers. Because he was a hot mess too. I'm still a hot mess. I've enjoyed my career. I've enjoyed knowing people like this, captains, commanders, admirals. You know, I got admirals in my phone because I'm here. You know, hey, old man, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in a tree. What are you doing? I'm in a tree. So it's, you got to take care of each other and know that this man pulled through, turned into an outstanding leader, an outstanding officer. And, you know I hit him in the head with a Petty Officer Marino, but he is a lieutenant commander of the United States Navy through and through. He's a Mustang, did it, and he's pulling it through. He's got a beautiful family, but he's still got to go to work now because of that beautiful family. One other thing is, many years ago, I had an AT-3, basically an orphan, and she was working for me, and I gave her a job. I said, you're not going to work on anything else in this squadron, so you fix that radar. And she fixed that radar. She came in, she just, she's popping, tell me, man, Steve, I fixed it. I'm like, okay, pick another man. Pick another aircraft. Go fix it. 4 years ago, in September, she made me the godfather of her 4-year-old. Since then, she's had another baby. All right, I have 5 blood grandkids, and them 2. Her 2 kids call me Papa, and she calls me Pops. So you make a difference, especially sailors that still got time on your clocks. Make a difference, okay? Try. If you don't try, you can't succeed, and you can't fail. If you don't fail, you ain't no good. You got to figure it out. You got to work through it. Okay? I think I answered this whole thing without you did good. That's great. But on the last note, my 7th grandkid, that's it, 5? Yeah, 5 and 2. No, 4 and 2. Yeah. I got one. My second daughter is in the emergency room right now with my 7th grandkid. So if I gotta go, I'm waving. I gotta go, okay? Because I got another baby coming, Harper Avery, a little baby girl. So now I got 4 girls and 3 boys. So somebody know my son, one of the other girls got to get busy. But thank you for having me, Keiffer. Thank you for invited me, you act like you were shocked. I said, yeah. I've been giving main speeches for 100 years, so talking is what I do, but talking nice, not usually. Give it to them dirty, give it to them hard, as Pat said, and they'll remember. So thank you for your time. Thanks for listening to me babble. And thank you for your friendship. It's been Miami. That's President Yoga. Okay? I got to run off the stage. Come on, Stan. No. Katie's having a meltdown. So thank you.
Commodore Legans will now present Lieutenant Commander Marino his End of Tour Award. Military guests, attention to award. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Commander Keith Patrick Marino, United States Navy, for services set forth in the following citation. For outstanding meritorious service while serving as Assistant Maintenance Officer assigned to Helicopter Maritime Strike Wing Atlantic from August 2021 to August 2023. Lieutenant Commander Marino displayed exceptional training and manning expertise while providing superb guidance and mentorship to 9 squadron assistant maintenance officers during significant fleet-wide manning constraints. He directed the reduction in training times throughout the wing and drove a 38% decrease in backlog training items. His commitment to maintenance operational readiness was vital to the wing's ability to sustain multiple operational commitments, including simultaneous deployments, detachments, and forward deployed naval units operating in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Fleet areas of responsibility. His meticulous data analysis of manning and training was critical to the successful stand-up of a newly commissioned MH-60 Romeo squadron, the home port change of a forward deployed Naval Forces squadron, and full implementation of the Aviation Maintenance Experience Standard. This award is the culmination of 27 years of dedicated service to the Navy and the defense of our nation. It is a testament to the enduring contributions and countless personal sacrifices he made to preserve the freedoms and liberties all Americans cherish. Lieutenant Commander Marino's exceptional professionalism, personal initiative, and loyal devotion to duty reflected great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States service. For the President, J.F. Meyer, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Commander, Naval Air Force, Atlantic. Lieutenant Commander Marino is also receiving his retirement certificate. Lieutenant Commander Marino has also received letters from Presidents Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, and Clinton. Will Laura, Gabriella, Callista, Bridget, Tennyson, and Penelope please join the commanding officer at the stage?
You guys want to just do right? Yeah, come first.
To all shall see these presents greetings. Laura Marino, today after completing 26 years of naval service, your husband has ended an honorable and faithful service to his country, and his efforts are sincerely appreciated. Such a rich and rewarding career reflects a strong commitment to the principles of freedom and democracy, and the belief that they must be upheld at any cost. That type of total commitment is not possible without the full support of the entire family. Your support and commitment through his years of active duty service were vital. The unwavering encouragement and immense understanding you provided have contributed greatly to his distinguished career. That loyalty and dedication were significant courses of strength for your husband during arduous duty and exemplified the highest traditions of patriotism. On behalf of the Department of the Navy, I extend to you a sincere thanks and express our appreciation for a job well done. Given this first day of August 2023, Captain T.R. Legans, United States Navy, Commander Helicopter Maritime Strike Wing, Atlantic. Also receiving letters of appreciation for Commodore Legans are Gabriella Callista, Bridget Tennyson, and Penelope.
Hold on a second, guys. This is just up there. There you go.
Something that you'll often hear at these retirement ceremonies is a reading called The Navy Wife, and I've never been a big fan of it. Just it never set well with me, so I wrote something. I wrote something for my wife. It's called The Shores of Lonely Days. While anchored on the shores called Lonely Days, the wife of a sailor works tirelessly and long. Pregnant with their first, a house, and 2 dogs to care for, she trudges on alone with a heart full of song. Now 2 kids in diapers and 2 dogs wrecking the house. The Navy wife must clean and feed and manage dismay. Longing for some peace and quiet when the nap hour strikes, she continues to clean and now as quiet as a mouse. 3 kids in and hoping for a letter or a call from her man, who's been gone for only 6 months. With 4 more to go, she thinks about the day her lover will return. From faraway shores and distant lands. He's home for a while, but life is still the same. The shores of lonely days awaits. As he is often never home and largely unavailable, another inspection, a workup, or detachment to blame. Cross-country moves, more diapers and exhaustion, her friendship as fleeting as Jetsam, her faith in Christ and his visiting angels in Relief Society become a source of comfort, solace, and inspiration. She continues to give to her growing family, her heart and soul with all her might. She longs for her partner who is a world away and resolves to be his guiding light. Her voice is a comfort during life's storms. She offers him hope for a life worth fighting for. Her fierce devotion to her family, her sailor, and her nation are a model for all women and is a Navy wife norm. She does it all while he is away, and she rarely ever complains, only the occasional acknowledgement of how hard things can be, living life alone on the shores of lonely days. She is a rock of virtue and an example to moms and wives everywhere. Her heart is full of compassion and love. Her will is strong and committed to her family. Few, if any, who meet her can compare. She is a Navy wife, a Navy mom, a confidant, and a friend. Though not on the front line of the world's disagreements, her battles are fought on the home front. She is the peacemaker who puts little knees and elbows to mend. The shores of lonely days leave many destitute on her beaches, but the Navy wife stands as a vigil of resilience, a lighthouse in the storms of life, a committed spouse, and the hope of life's beacon.
Maybe have this on that, I'm sorry.
This is Laura Marino, front and center.
Front and center, Laura.
The spouse does not wear a uniform, yet they serve their country. They do not acquire nor wear ribbons, showing where they have been, yet they go. They did not ask for the duty they performed, yet they unwaveringly served to the best of their ability. They serve, yet are not honored with trinkets or pieces of cloth showing their service. The burning candle signifies the lonely nights you have spent when you kept the home fires burning, a symbol with no beginning and no end. The ring around the candle flame symbolizes the undying flame of love for your spouse. The image of a rose is for the unwavering devotion you have shown for your spouse, for their country. This medal is gratefully given to those who do not ask, those who stay on the home front so their spouse can serve, for they also proudly serve their country. We will now be pleased to hear from Lieutenant Commander Marino's wife, Mrs. Laura Marino.
I wrote this. Can you hear me? I know I have to like make out with this in order for you to hear me. Can I hold this? That would be a lot easier. Okay. All right. So I wrote this last night with the understanding that I was going to feel this way. So I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience right now, as I always knew that this day would come, but I can't actually believe that it's here. To be at yet another formal Navy event, but this time being the last on active duty, is surreal. And looking around and seeing family and friends who have traveled far to witness this moment gives me a feeling that I can't even describe. For many of you who are attending in uniform, serving our country and participating in this ceremony, I thank you. Some of you have just started out in your military career, while others have retired after decades of faithful service. Thank you for your service and your commitment to our country, and also for playing such an important role in our special day for us. I know that for service members, this is an all too familiar event, especially if you've been in the Navy for a long time. But I look out and think a lot about our friends and family who have never witnessed such an event, especially the formalities and traditions in this ceremony. What you are doing today is impressive. And it doesn't ever get old for me. Having our family on the receiving end of honorary recognition is really special, and I appreciate all of you. Haley, hi. I didn't get a chance to say hello, but thank you for being here. I mean, you've traveled very far, and that was absolutely beautiful, so thank you. And Bishop Morris, thank you so much for being here as well. I'm going to let you all in a little secret, you might have guessed, but having military members, service members' wife speak at a retirement is not customary. But in true Marino fashion, we like to break the mold. In all honesty, though, I couldn't imagine not standing here to say a few words about my husband, as well as to share a little bit about our journey in this Navy career. When I met Keiffer in 2007, I was living in Washington State, and I was working at a hair salon which I owned and operated. Keiffer was an E6 with 10 years in the Navy, and had been transferred to Whidbey Island as a mechanic, and then maintenance controller on an aircraft called the P-3 Orion. As two professionals with little time for dating the wrong people, we both had the genius idea to join a professional matchmaking company called It's Just Lunch, dating for busy professionals. And our matchmaker hit the nail on the head, sending us on a date, a blind date, might I add, because it was love at first sight. And Keiffer asked me what the agency told me that he did for a living, and I replied that they told me that he worked in aviation. So being in Washington, I figured that he worked for Boeing. Wrong. Let me tell you that that I never would have entertained the idea of going on a blind date with someone in the military. But it was too late. In the few minutes before the question had been asked, we were in love, and the rest is history. We got engaged a month later and married 3 months after that. We purchased our first home in Washington, and since this tour of duty was sea duty, meaning he was deployable, we knew we had to be strategic with our family planning. We decided to get 2 puppies and to get pregnant a few months after getting married, and right before Keiffer deployed to Japan for 6 months. This seemed like a good idea, as we would rather have him be gone when I was pregnant than when we had a newborn. The pregnancy wasn't hard not having around, but having 2 puppies who chewed up all of our molding in our brand new house and dug up our entire backyard, it was not so easy. The deployment wasn't too challenging for the 2 of us because communication was nearly every day via email, phone, and video call since he was on base in Okinawa. When our firstborn Callista was 5 months old, we got pregnant with our second daughter, Bridget. Keiffer was commissioned as an officer, and after 3 years in Washington, we transferred to San Diego. This was a huge life change for me, as it was the first time having to experience leaving my family behind and venturing to a new state on command. It was so hard leaving my entire world behind to follow my husband in his duty with the Navy. I was thrilled it was San Diego, though, and we rented an adorable little house in Rancho Bernardo. Keiffer was stationed on North Island as a DETMO in a helicopter squadron. This was another sea duty billet, and shortly after moving there, Keiffer deployed on the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln to the Middle East. Once again, I got pregnant right before deployment with our son Tennyson. This was supposed to be a 6-month deployment, but it turned out to be an 8-month one. Too close for comfort when trying to miss avoiding birth of a child. Keiffer came home with a month to spare, but brought bad news home with him. He was to deploy again in 6 months. This meant this next deployment was supposed to be for 7 months, but it was extended twice and lasted nearly 11 months. As you can imagine, this was a nightmare for both of us. Communication aboard the aircraft carrier was minimal, and we were mostly only able to email each other. Keiffer struggled being away from our 3 babies and myself, and I struggled raising 3 kids under the age of 3 and 2 crazy dogs by myself. I was very fortunate, though, because I have the most amazing church that stepped in and helped me in every way I needed. My mom flew down from Washington, sometimes for a month at a time, and stayed with me, helping me out and enjoying all that San Diego had to offer. After 3 years in San Diego, we were transferred to Lexington Park, Maryland, where Keiffer joined the Fleet Readiness Center as the MMCO and then AMO. Fortunately, our 2 years in Maryland were shore duty, so he didn't deploy. We had our 4th child, Penelope, in 2013, and shortly after we adopted our daughter Gabriella from Latvia. We were thrilled to be transferred back to San Diego for another 3 years, and Keiffer was stationed on 32nd Street downtown working as the AMO on the USS Macon Island, which is an amphibious assault ship. Our timing moving there was perfect, as Keiffer's command had just returned from deployment. So in the 3 years that we were there, he deployed only once for 7 months. However, it was another challenging one, as communication was minimal since he was on the Macon Island in the Middle East. During that deployment, I attended culinary school to pass the time. Crazy, I know. We arrived in Florida in 2018, where Keiffer got stationed on NAS Jacksonville in another P-3 squadron for 3 years. He then was transferred to his final duty station, working at the MH-60 Romeo wing here at Mayport as the AMO. I went to college and became an elementary school teacher, as all of our kids had finally gone to school. We purchased our home in St. John's, as our plans are to stay here after retirement. When I reflect on this Navy life, with all the duty station changes, deployments, missed birthdays, Christmases, kids' sports, and separation, it is easy to be ready to put this all behind me. But as I stand here, I realize that it is not so easy to leave behind. The Navy has been so good to us. I've always felt taken care of with my family's health, including our medical and dental and the Navy hospitals have been great. Most commands that Keiffer was a part of had a fantastic spouse and family support group, and we had plenty of picnics and parties to attend. We enjoyed free movies for the kids on base in San Diego, swim lessons on base in Maryland, and pontoon boat rentals at NAS Jacksonville. When Keiffer was away, he was comforted with the knowledge that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints would be there for me and my kids, no matter where we went in the world. I think the hardest thing, though, will be not seeing my husband in uniform anymore. Although it is the same day, in and out, the uniforms he wears have symbols of patriotism all over them. Keiffer started as an enlisted sailor, E1. He worked his way up the ranks, eventually moving from enlisted to commissioned officer. Keiffer has several uniforms that he wears depending on the scenario, and each vary in their insignia. Today, he is wearing his dress whites, otherwise known as chokers, which is my favorite of them all. I think you would agree. The shoulder boards with gold stripes represent his rank as 04. But to me, they represent the 27 years of dedicated service to our country. The medals he wears along with the ribbons, represent the awards that he has earned throughout his service. The wings below the medals were earned when he was enlisted, when he became an aviation warfare specialist. The wings on top of the ribbons he earned when he became a professional aviation maintenance officer. I will miss all of this, as not only does the uniforms that he wears show a true American patriot, but he looks super hot in them too. Just, Keiffer, I am proud of you more than words can express. You have been an exemplary husband and dad, doing what is necessary to take care of your family in the most honorable way. You've sacrificed time with your mom, your sister, Jerry, and Luana, and have bore the weight of knowing that your service and your duty to our country has left my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brothers, nieces, and nephews without their daughter, sister, or aunt nearby. You have impressed us with your honor, courage, and commitment to the Navy and to our country. Everything we experienced was worth it. And now you are relieved of your duty and get to move to do whatever your heart desires. Let's become your rock star, like I know you really desire. I think I can speak for everyone here who knows you well, that there is no doubt that you will be successful in anything that you choose to do with your life. You are talented, articulate, inspiring, and charismatic, and we are all so proud of you. I love you.
Lieutenant Commander Marino will now be presented with our nation's ensign, the flag of the United States of America. Flag detail, post.
Flag detail, attention. Right face. Forward march.
Chief Warrant Officer John Fields will read Old Glory.
I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch America's halls of justice. I fly majestic
flag detail. Right, face, and salute. Ready, two.
Flag detail, left face. Forward march.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Keiffer Marino.
How's everybody doing? Good, thank you. Wow. Thank you all for being here. It means a great deal to me to see so many of you here that I know, I love and respect. Color Guard, are you still here? Yeah. Thank you. Back in early 2000s, I served under Jacksonville Honor Guard for about 6 months, and it was I learned a lot there about grief and loss as presenting flags to widows. And so even though this is kind of an easy day for those guys about doing a retirement ceremony, they have hard days as well. They don't just do these; they actually spend most of their time doing funerals. Navy Band, thank you so much. I love the Navy Band. When I was a young guy getting ready to join the Navy, I aspired to be a musician in the Navy. Wanted to be a percussionist. They didn't have any jobs open for me, so I didn't make that cut. So really, those guys are the best of the best over there, and when you listen to them, and you can tell why. I ended up becoming a knuckle dragging aircraft mechanic. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. Haley, where's Haley at? Oh, Haley, thank you. Haley came from 6 hours away in the Destin, Niceville area, all the way out here. I've known Haley for over 30 years, and we went to school together. We sang together in high school, and I'm so thankful for your friendship. You've been amazing. I love you. Thank you. Bishop, thanks for taking time out to be here with me today. I love you too, my friend. I have enjoyed the opportunity to spend days with you discussing just so many things about how to make people's lives better. You're a good man. Thank you. Commodore, thank you for taking time out of your day. This guy's busy. There's always a call, there's always a conference, there's always something going on. Every single day, there's something going on that our nation needs to address. And I think a lot of times we go home and we don't think about that, but every single day we have leaders like Commodore Gaines and the people at the wing who are literally managing the nation's needs every day. So thank you, sir. Appreciate your leadership, your counsel, all the good conversations we had about baseball. It's great. Love baseball. Mike, and so Mike's story is a little bit not quite how I would tell it. Yes, I was a snotty-nosed little second class when I checked in, but I had an excuse for being, so gung-ho. I just left Tomcats, and forward deployed Tomcat Squadron, going to a P3 squadron. And I think anybody can admit, the tempo at the P3 squadron isn't quite what it is at the Tomcat Squadron. So anyway, what I loved about my cart was that I was running. I always hit the deck hard. I hit the deck running when I got there, and I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted to learn more. And what I loved about Mike Harden is he gave me that opportunity. I go into maintenance control, and I frustrated him a number of times to the point where he told me, "Don't ever come back on my maintenance control until you can tell me something you learned about this aircraft." So I was like, "Okay, all right, got that." And then shortly after, he got tired of seeing me come in, with that, he signed me up for multi-engine turn operator school for P3s. And you wonder why I asked my card to be one of my guest speakers. Because that single act, a belief in me and my ability to go out there and do diagnostics and troubleshooting on this aircraft, large body aircraft, having multiple engines online, doing high powers. John, we spent plenty of time out there on those aircraft. And
Tough school, tough.
it is a tough school. Tough school. It was 6 months of school, and it was another 6 months of turning. So many turns, so many tests, so many people behind you pulling circuit breakers and inducing faults, and you've got to know what to do. And because you literally have people's lives in your hands, and anybody who flies Commodore, you can attest to that. They're literally people's lives hang in the balance when you fail to make good decisions and be responsible for the equipment and that's in front of you. Thank you for that. That act, getting qualified as a turn operator, set the stage for me in so many different ways. I found a desire to continue being the best that I could possibly be. As we progress, and there's a couple more readings, and I know that I don't want this to get too long, but it's just a fairly long ceremony, only an hour and 40 minutes or so. But there's some really great history about this ceremony, and I hope everybody is able to pay attention, listen, and learn why the Navy is awesome. Okay, I love the Navy. The group of sailors that you've watched all here today, all in their uniform, every single one of them volunteered. When I asked, they didn't hesitate. And it takes a lot of people to put this together. There's no way I could do this without their help. What you may not know, is literally 5 minutes before we did the Old Glory Pass in the flag, I didn't have a flag here. So I was a little nervous. So I don't know, where's Chris at? I saw him walk in. Thank you. I don't know how you did it, but thanks for getting it here, my friend. Who's responsible for that? Who got the flag here? See, nobody wants, oh. It's all right. Thank you. Man, that would have been weird, right? Just would have fainted until we made it, so it's great. We got it right here, we would have got it out there and pulled it up. What we didn't have was we didn't have an E1 and a flag passing detail, which you saw a bunch of people here. They're not just a bunch of people. They're sailors who represent every pay grade that I've gone through in my career, minus the E1, which E1s are hard to come by. A lot of them come out of boot camp and they're E2s already. But starting with my E2, all the way up to Lieutenant Phillips, and then finally me, because I'm still in active duty. But that was representation of a full career. There's Ocean Breeze staff who yesterday were in here working, vacuuming, cleaning up. There's a gentleman, I don't know where he's at now, but just in here working hours. Stage again, they're setting up tables, putting the cloths down. So just a lot of people. Uncle Bruce and Donna, thank you for coming in from Pennsylvania. I love you. My Uncle Bruce is an incredibly talented artist, and I've always wanted to be as good as you. Never got there, but I will tell you that gene, my daughters are very good, and they're very good. So they're kind of taking their footsteps. Callista, Bridget, Tennyson, and Penelope, and Gabriella. I can't tell you how proud I am of you. I know I'm hard on you. They're all nodding their head. Good, you are hard on me. But I want you to know that it comes from a place of love. I adore you, and I'll do anything I can within my power to help you in anything that you want to do in your life. I'm hard on you because I believe in you and your ability to be great. Very much like the Navy's hard on its sailors early on, and its leaders as you continue growing. You want hard leaders. You want people who believe in you, that believe in you more than you believe in yourself, and push you to be the best that you can be. Okay. Jerry, Luana, Bud, I love you. Luana, I love you. Back in the 2005 or so, I got hurt pretty bad, and I almost lost my Navy career because of my injuries. And I got medevaced out of Spain, back to the country, went through many surgeries, ended up doing some recovery here in Jacksonville, back at home with Jerry and Luana. And they took care of it. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for how many hours you spent literally helping me sit on the toilet because I couldn't do it on my own. Helping me take a bath because I couldn't do it on my own. Thank you. That's what family's for. That's right. Okay. Laura, thank you for your words. You've been an awesome wife. I mean, she hit the I believe button, and all these deployments and everything. I would just call her and say, just keep your eye on the prize, right? We'll get through it. At some point, this will be put behind us, and then we'll have other things to look forward to. You've been an amazing mother. I could not have asked to meet a woman that took better care of our family than you have, and has taken care of me. Thank you for being that solid foundation for our home. It's been amazing. Don, Michelle, thanks for moving here. They just moved here from Washington a year after we did. It means a lot to Laura. It's great having you close. We love you guys. Thank you for your friendship and your guidance and just the great laughs we get to have. My sister Tony, my nephews there, Ian and Nolan, came in from Kansas. Thank you for making the trip. I love you. Guys, I'm sorry we didn't get to see yous out. The weather's been rough, but I promise one day we'll get them out there and we'll go out there and run you. And see Amanda and see Emma. Thank you for being here. Love you guys. Mom, Luana, you did good. I mean, you did great. You raised a wonderful young lady, and you're still young to me. So she is younger, by the way, by a couple of years. So see so many people here. I want to say thank you to all my guests here. Thank you so much, Cliff. I've known Cliff since I was 16 years old, 15 years old. Thank you for your friendship, man. All the great laughs. It's been great, man, and I'm glad we've been able to keep that connection. All right, so I'm going to try to get on through this real quick. That's my thank yous. So there's a lot of diversity in our ranks, and that's what America truly represents. And before I move on any further, boy, I would be a complete moron if I didn't thank my own mom. So yeah, I'm a dumb sailor sometimes. I'm sitting here looking at her thinking, you're right. Mom, thank you. I love you. My mom is just a sweet spirit. And I could go on for hours about how much I adore you and respect you and the challenges you've gone through in your life. But I'm happy you're here. You've been a wonderful mom. I love it. I love making you laugh, right? Because my mom's got a great laugh. Thank you for always being there for me. Always being a phone call away. Thank you for always taking time out for me and my life. So, Bob, thanks for taking care of my mom. Love you guys. So diversity, right? I got a couple of salient remarks I want to make here. That's what America truly represents. Not the garbage that you see spewed on TikTok videos or BeReals or YouTube and Facebook. Comments to the effect of diversity is what makes us stronger, or equity is the fundamental tenet of our Constitution, are distortions of the truth. A belief in a common cause is what unites us, regardless of our diversity. A love of our country unites us, not the constant reminder of the things that possibly make us different. Throughout my career, I chose to focus on people's values and their commitment to do good, not what they look like or where they're from or what their beliefs are. I know it may take flack for saying that, but I choose to focus on the things that unite us, not the things that we want, society wants us to regularly identify as making us different. Anybody who serves this country is a brother and sister to me, and I love you. Thank you for all the sacrifices. This group back here, all these sailors in here in uniform, everybody who's sitting here, thank you, guys. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are awesome. Don't care where you come from, don't care what your ethnic background is. I care about your love of country and your willingness to do good for our country and the people that in your family. That's what's important to me. My experience in the service, we focus on things that make us. We should focus on things that make us the same. When you look at participants in today's events, you can choose to see what lies in the first surface or see what's inside of each and every one of these community professionals. And I choose the latter. I didn't grow up rich, I didn't grow up wealthy, I didn't grow up educated. In fact, I was an average student. Actually, I was probably below average. It wasn't until I kind of grew up and figured out there's life ahead of me, I got to get smart and do things the right way. My point here is that anybody can make it in the service if you work hard. Just like in any job, I think if you work hard and you're committed to being the best that you can be, it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what your education is. Hard work and dedication is, I think, are the ingredients to a successful career. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for being here. I'm truly appreciative of your presence here at my retirement. This means a great deal to my family and me. God bless you guys.
Lieutenant Commander Marino will now present his family with gifts.
I didn't read half that speech. I just
Will the guests please rise for the benediction offered by Bishop Morris?
Bow your heads as we pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before thee and we give thee thanks for this wonderful service. We have been able to celebrate Lieutenant Commander Marino and his family. We ask thee as they start this new chapter in their life, that they will be guided and directed, that they will be prospered in all they do. We ask a special blessing to be with the Father, to be with each one of his children, that they will be able to follow the example of their fathers and set service to country and service to others. We ask
side boys.
Time for it. Time. Hey. Oh.
The order, boatswains stand by to pipe the side, has been passed on naval ships from the 1500s through today. Spanish, French, English, the Dutch, yes, every navy in the world has used the boatswain's call and side boys to bring aboard or send ashore its officers, visiting officers, and all visiting dignitaries. Side boys would haul on the ropes and raise or lower the boarding platform, so officers would not have to climb the ratlines which were hanging over the side for the enlisted crew when going ashore or aboard. This honor was extended to visiting officers, dignitaries, and port officials. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of a ship to order up the jolly boat, a small boat used for general purposes and for ferrying crew to and from the ship. A crew of 8 strongbacks, side boys, and boatswain to send an old shipmate and fellow officer to his shore retirement home, never to sail on naval ships again. The call, all hands on deck, was passed. Speeches were made about great victories and battles fought upon the open sea, raging storms that were weathered, and voyages to distant and strange lands, with ports of call others only dreamed about. A fine sword, a brace of pistols, a rifle or musket, or maybe a sea chest of fine wood bound in brass, was presented to remind him of crews and ships with which he had served. The boatswain would stand tall the side boys, and the retiree would request permission to go ashore. He stepped to the platform, and the side boys would lower away. As the jolly boat pulled away, the gunner would fire a salute from the ship's main battery, as the retiree sat in the stern sheets, normally reserved for the person in command, being rowed ashore. In the late 1700s, the U.S. Navy set sail with new ideas, new goals, and a desire to build traditions that would stand the test of time. The U.S. Navy led the way in providing honors for crewmen. The 1800s saw enlisted men holding retirements for enlisted men for the first time. The captain would allow the jolly boat to take enlisted retiree ashore. After the Civil War, the commanding officers began to hold enlisted retirement ceremonies to show the crew that they in the Navy recognized the contributions of the enlisted crewmen. Today, our Navy has given most of the pomp and circumstance, the honors, traditions, and ceremonies back to history. Time does not give us the freedom to do these things from the past. Nevertheless, we still have to stop all engines, lay about smartly, and drop anchor to pay honor to one of our shipmates going ashore. We honor the years served, the guidance, the leadership, the friendship, and the expertise that this shipmate has freely given for years. Everyone, please be seated.
For 27 years, this man stood the watch. While others were asleep in their bunks at night, this man stood the watch. While others were away at school, this sailor stood the watch. Yes, even though before some of us were born, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years, as the storm clouds of war were seen growing on the horizon of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Though we saw Elora, Bridget, Gabriella, Melissa, Tennyson, Penelope, Ashore, out needing his guidance, he still stood the watch. Even though the governing hand home and guidance, he stood the watch so that you and our fellow countrymen can sleep softly, soundly, safely at night. Today we're here to say, shipmate, you stand relieved. Relieved by those you have led, guided, trained, and mentored. Who here will relieve the watch?
I will. Lieutenant Commander Marino, you stand properly relieved. I have the watch.
You have the watch.
Boatswain, stand by to pipe the side. Shipmate going ashore.
The Law Mustangs, past and present, join the side boys for the piping ashore. Lieutenant Commander Marino will now be presented with a shadow box from the wardroom. According to some accounts of naval history and tradition, when a sailor retires and is departing the ship for the last time, it's considered bad luck for the sailor's shadow to touch land before he does. Thus the sailor's shipmates would construct a sturdy box handcrafted of the finest materials, in which to display mementos of the sailor's accomplishments, thereby symbolically creating a shadow of the sailor. The box safely contains the sailor's shadow until he is safely ashore, at which time the shadow box can be given to the sailor in a presentation ceremony. Historically, when a sailor would join a ship's crew, he would join that ship for his entire career. During the sailor's voyages to ports of call around the world, he would collect many trinkets, souvenirs, and reminders. Naturally, as space aboard ship was at a premium, these items tended to be small. When the sailor piped ashore for the last time, his shipmates saw to it that a special ceremonial box was constructed for him. The box would hold all the possessions that had been collected during those many voyages, and would simultaneously symbolize the sailor's career and time aboard ship. Ideally, a shadow box serves not only as a reminder of achievements and accomplishments, but also as a summation or culmination of a career. A shadow box should enable a stranger glancing at its contents to gain a substantial understanding of the owner's past service and achievements. Shadow boxes are born of an ancient naval tradition that's still practiced today, both in the militaries of the world and throughout civilian life. The shadow box is laden with items that represent the recipient's service or accomplishments and achievements. The national flag is placed inside the shadow box to symbolize the country that has benefited from the faithful service of the recipient. On behalf of your fellow shipmates, we present you the shadow box representing a career of valiant and faithful service to the greatest nation the world has ever known, the United States of America.
Respectfully request permission to go ashore.
Lieutenant Commander Keiffer Marino, United States Navy, retired, departing. Please stand by for Lieutenant Commander Marino's return for his family's official departure. Lieutenant Commander Keiffer Marino, United States Navy, retired, and family, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this now concludes the retirement ceremony. On behalf of Lieutenant Commander Marino and the entire commando, I'd like to thank you for attending. Please join Lieutenant Commander Marino and his family for refreshments at the back of the hall.